Hi, thanks for finding me out. My name is Jeff, and I grew up in a hurry as a teenager. We had just moved to a big city from a small town, the last of 6 children. And one night I went to a friend's house, and I was feeling anxious the whole day. And on the way back home, when I almost got close to home, I was driving a car at a high rate of speed because I hadn't driven that car before, and I had a very large engine in it. I quickly went up to speed, and there was nobody in front of me, and it was dark, and I just wanted to see what it was like. Quickly, I came up on some cars in the right lane, and I was in a left lane, and let go of the gas, started slowing down. Everything was fine, but in the last second before I passed this car, there were 3 cars in the right lane, I believe, and the one in the back decided to cut over to the left lane. Didn't see me coming because I was coming very fast, and I had no time to react. So what happened to me was quite interesting, and it really started my life, and could have ended my life, but it started my life in a very spiritual way. The car pulled over. I was coming up on it, probably 50 miles an hour faster than he was going, if that's possible, something along those lines. And time stopped, and I went out of my body. And I didn't go so far up, but I went up. I couldn't see anything, but I could sense a lot. I had a sense that I was in a group, like in a round table, with maybe 10 or 12 people at the table. Obviously, I couldn't see them, so I can't say all these details, but it was quite real to me. And we had a conversation. What were we going to do? And we talked about all different scenarios. Could I try to cut off to the left? It might be too late, but it was a possibility, number one. That there was a grass median in between the oncoming lanes, but there wasn't any fence or anything, and there were cars on the other side. So I thought, boy, if I cut over and hit this grass, I'm probably going to lose control of the vehicle, and that meant maybe hitting somebody head on the other side, and killing myself, killing somebody else. It was a chance of trying to stop, but it was too close. I couldn't avoid, hitting them. He was the last of 3 cars. I assume it was a man driving. It just felt that way. So we talked. We talked about every option. There was one person that was sort of the leader of this group. Maybe my ancestors. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. And I just told this group of people who were going to guide me that I didn't want to hurt anybody. I realized at that moment the enormity of my mistake of going too fast, thinking there was nobody up ahead, but obviously I pulled up too quickly to them. So there was, a real good chance that I was going to die, and there was a real good chance that I could take somebody with me. I don't remember. Obviously, time stopped. But if you give it a sense of how long it took, I would probably have said a few minutes for sure, the conversation that we had. And I just told this round table of friends or ancestors that I didn't want to hurt anybody. And I wanted to find a way to avoid hitting anybody if that was possible. But obviously, if I was going 90 and they were going 40, and they pulled out in front of me in the last second, there wasn't a lot of room to avoid them. But there were two other cars in the right lane. I was in the left. This guy came from the right to the left lane, so there was a little room on the right till the next car. And there was a big field on the right, but it kind of was a hill, so if I had to go off the road, I would have had to go down and then up again. But that seemed to be the only possible option that I had. So I talked to the head guy and said, I don't want to hurt anybody. And I realized in my mind that I really made a mistake, and I really had to grow up very quickly. So at 17, I felt like I grew up. I grew up right then and there. So I like to call this story Growing Up in No Time, quote, no time. Because there was no time, and I had as long as I needed to feel comfortable and what to do. And they were there for assisting me, helping me to make the right decision. So then I felt like I looked around, but I didn't see anybody. I told this leader and said, I want to go back down into my body and quickly cut to the right and see if I can avoid him and try to get over to the field. And basically everybody agreed with me and said it's a good plan. So then when I was ready, I said, okay, I'm ready. And boom, in a flash, I was back in my body with my hands in position to turn to the right. And I quickly turned this big car to the right. I didn't lose control, and I didn't hit the other car somehow. But I did go off the highway. I think sideways. And there was a hill there, and then the field went up. And instead of going down and up, I went straight across. So I kind of flew, and I landed the car like an airplane, but sideways. I remember in the conversation, I realized that it had just rained earlier. And because of the rain, I felt a little safer landing in this field. I didn't know I would be sideways, but I was sideways. But somehow I felt safer because the grass was wet. The grass was dry. I felt like the tires would have caught when I landed, bounced and flipped. I had a seatbelt on, but seatbelts don't save people from everything. If I was flipping at that speed, I would have been ejected or crushed or something if I had rolled over. But it's just funny that I had time to think about that, but I realized it and went off, landed like an airplane sideways, and was just kind of this way, that way, this way, that way. Seemed to go on forever. And at one point, I kind of stopped rocking back and forth, and I thought it was over, but then I kept going. Finally, it was over. I stopped and didn't know what to do. I looked down at the highway, and the cars stopped. And I figured everything's okay. Turned off the car, started the car, and drove back onto the road and went home, talked to my parents. That was really bizarre. But since then, I had really had multiple type of experiences like this, and I've got friends who've had similar as well, and I want to bring them on, and I want to talk about a lot of things that I have learned since that time, which was the late 1970s. I never really thought about talking about this so much, but a lot of Facebook groups, spiritual groups are out there, and I felt compelled to join them and really feel like now is the time to tell my story. Anyways, it seemed like after that, so many things happened to me. And I really want to share those things. I feel like there's a lot of truth to what we learn through our spiritual experiences. There's a lot of truth to it, and I feel like I can share it. So I'm going to do that from this point on. Maybe on a regular basis, maybe not. But I want to bring in some friends and have them share their experiences, and I hope that you can come along with me and as I share. So I thank you. Look for more and more events. I will try to make this an exciting channel, and I hope that you can subscribe and hear all the new things that I come up with, and I'll try to be more disciplined in bringing more and more podcasts. Some will be instructional and some will just be from the heart. But I hope we can go through this course together and learn through our experiences and the multiple experiences I've had since that time I want to share as well. So I hope you can join me. Thank you. We will see you soon. Good night.